Alright, so we got translations and tessellations with Mr. Hansen here today. Now we're just gonna take the time out and we're gonna kind of review what it means to be a translation, or what it is, what a translation is, and we're gonna take a little time out and we're gonna also talk about tessellations as well. I'd like to talk about figure tessellations, you know, how an image is tessellated. So as you can kind of see here, I've kind of drawn in, I've got my red square over here, and I've taken that image and I've kind of slid it over here to where my blue square is. I'll show you a couple other examples of that as well, and I also want to delve into graphical representations of translations too. So let's get started. Let me just get this erased here. Now, a translation, as you might remember, is going to be a sliding of an image here. Let me just go ahead and put this up on the board. Translation. That is a slide. So we're going to take an original figure, like I used a square. I took the original image and I slid it over here. Nothing changed when I slid that square over. So there's no change in size. And apologies for the bad handwriting here. There's also no rotation involved, or no reflections, so I'll go ahead and write both of those in, rotation or reflection. Or reflection. So when I'm saying reflection, it's not a mirrored image. You know, so you put a mirror up to it, you're not going to get that opposite image. So that's kind of what a translation is. And now I'll go ahead and I'll show you an example that's not a square. Now bear in mind, I'm not the best artist here, but I will do my best to draw them to scale as I can. Now let's say we have a red triangle, and we wanted to slide that perhaps maybe over here to this corner. Now if we had a triangle that looked, you know, relatively close, that's okay. That is a translation. So that one's A-okay in my book, because there's no rotation as from what we can tell. Maybe I shouldn't have used an equilateral triangle here. I'll show you one without an equilateral triangle. So let's say we got a right angle, or a right triangle. That might be a little bit easier. Let's slide that over. There. Now we can see that 90-degree angle has stayed in place in that bottom left corner. Now if we had taken this triangle and let's say we flipped it a little bit around, so what if we put it over here? Now that's not okay. That's very unfortunate that happened. That is going to be a rotation, because as you can see, our point will start here and it's going to rotate to the bottom. That's actually a rotation, not a translation. The two are very similar in some aspects, but they are not quite the same thing. So that's bad. We don't want to worry about that. Now, I'll give you one more example. Let's see if I can't think of a really good one here. So let's say we have, I'll draw a house. Let's see how my house drawing skills are today. Now, you can move it up, left, right, down, sideways, pretty much whatever ways you want, but you just want to make sure that you do have that original image. So I could, let's say I want to redraw my house. Oops, there goes my marker. I want to redraw my house up here. I can certainly do that because I'm not changing the image. I'm merely just moving it from one spot on my chart to another spot, which is over here. Okay, now I want to quickly talk about tessellations. And as I mentioned before, you know, bear in mind I'm not the best of artists here, but a tessellation is going to be a repeated pattern that fits into itself, essentially. And what I mean by that is, let's say I've got a hexagon here. So I got my 6-sided hexagon here. Now, let's say I fit 2 trapezoids to the bottom of this. So let me just put those in there real quick. Now I'm trying to get them as close as I can without mixing my colors up here. So as you can see, this is going to be my original figure here. I'm just going to I'm just going to put my ridge. Now I can easily fit that into itself. As I could slide it right over here, and I could easily have my hexagon fit right into, nestle right into that trapezoid, which is exactly what I want. Now, like I said, it's going to be kind of a poor drawing, but you can kind of see what I'm driving at here. Now I could now if I wanted to move it up, I have to make sure that this particular piece is going to be on top of this particular piece, which we very well can do. We can just go like that, and now we can finish off our pattern up here. So cut back, make our hexagon again. So you can see that my pattern is going to get repeated again, and that is a pretty decent example, if not poorly drawn example, of what a tessellation can eventually end up looking like. You guys did such a really good job with the tracing in class. I really enjoyed looking over those. Now, I want to quickly cover graphical representations of translations. It's going to be a little bit harder. I don't exactly have grid paper, but I will do my best to kind of give you guys an idea of what is going on. So bear with me as I draw this out, and I'll try to keep it fairly small. So we got my y-axis here. Oh man, that's not quite right. Psych. My x-axis here, got my y-axis up here. Now I'm just gonna make a fairly small triangle. I'm gonna go here, here, and let's go right here. So I'm at the point -3, 1. I'm at -3, 3, and I'm going to be at -1, 2. So I'm going to connect all those points for me. Now let's say I want to move my figure 3 to the right and 2 down. So what I can do is I can look at my x. I need to add 3 to the right on my x. So here's 1, 2, 3, and this is for this point right here. Moving it 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and I need to move it 2 down. So 1, 2. There's my new point. We're just right there. Now I need to continue working my way around as I do this. So I'm just gonna start at -3, 3. So I'm gonna go over 1, 2, 3, and 2 down, 1, 2. It's gonna be right there. With me so far? Hopefully there's not too much confusion going on. I'm trying to go as slow as I can while making it fairly accurate. It's a little bit confusing without all the perfectly drawn graph lines, but I am working on just a whiteboard here. Now let's finish this out. Move it over 3. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. Let's move down to 1, 2, right there. Let me get those little dots off of there. And we'll just connect our points. As you can see, I have officially moved my figure 3 over and that 2 down that we were looking for. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit better insight into how tessellations work, how translations work, and how both the geometric translations and graphical representations are working in general. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'll try to check this every single day. You can always ask me things in class too. I'm an open book. If you need me, I'm there. That's what I'm. This whole experience is about. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.